Fifth grade Excel lesson 10, solving word problems using deductive reasoning, determining if there is sufficient information to answer the question, determining what information is needed to answer the question in a word problem. Got a lot of different ideas having to do with word problems on today's lesson, and so we're just going to take a look at these. These should be mostly review for you, but hopefully it'll help you today to review the concepts. So follow along with your Excel worksheet. Number 1, Eric, Eduardo, and Hugo are brothers. Eduardo is older than Eric. Hugo is younger than Eric. Who is the youngest? Now, to show your work on this problem, you're not going to see these lines written here originally. You're just going to see the three names, Eric, Hugo, and Eduardo. And then what you're going to do is draw lines above them that compare to the other lines to show who is older. So you have some clues here. It says Eduardo is older than Eric, so they drew this line right here, Eduardo larger than Eric's line to show more years, more age. Then it says Hugo is younger than Eric, so they drew Hugo's being shorter than Eric's. And so now whatever question they ask me, who's the oldest, who's the youngest, who's in between, anything like that, I'd be able to answer. So who's the youngest? It's obviously Hugo. So you'd circle Hugo's name, and then normally there's going to be a number next to his name that goes maybe the number 2 or something, and that number goes in the check answer. All right, number 2, Tia, Will, and Don are late to school. Don arrived 13 minutes late. Will was 5 minutes earlier than Don. Tia was 3 minutes later than Will. How many minutes late was Tia? This problem's pretty tricky, but what I'd like you to do, because we don't have a lot of sample problems on here for me to show you how to do them and then have you do some on your own, I'd like you to go ahead and pause the video, try this one on your own, and then turn it back on to see how I solved it. If you're not able to solve it, just give it your best shot, and don't stress out about it too much. This is a learning opportunity for you. So just give it a shot, and then maybe you'll get it right, and then you'll feel really good about how you're doing on things. So go ahead and pause the video now, turn it back on after you solve the problem. All right, what we do is we start with who we know. We've got Don, and he's 13 minutes late. So I like to put a letter next to the numbers so I can keep track of things there. I've got Don at 13. Will was 5 minutes earlier than Don. So if he's earlier, he's not quite as late. So I'm going to subtract these 5 minutes to figure out what Will's is. And so Will would be 8. Will's 8 minutes late. And then it says Tia was 3 minutes later than Will. So we're going to add 3 minutes to get her later even than Will is, and that would make Tia 11 minutes late. So the answer is 11 minutes. All right, hopefully you got that one right on your own. Here are 2 other problems. Let's do the first one together, and the second one you can try on your own. What you're going to do is read the problem and just simply decide, are they giving you enough information to answer the question or not? And if they're giving you enough information, you're going to pick A. If they're not giving you enough information, you're going to pick B. You don't even really have to solve the problem. However, if they do give you enough information, I want you to go ahead in this space and write out how you would solve the problem to prove that they are giving you enough information. Let's take a look at this first one. Lawrence has 2 aunts and an uncle. Raquel has aunts and uncles. How many more uncles does Raquel have than Lawrence? Well, to figure that out, we'd have to know how many uncles Raquel has, and then we could subtract. It says Lawrence has an uncle, meaning he has 1 uncle. We could do this number minus this number. But the problem is it only says uncles. It doesn't tell us how many uncles Raquel has. So there's no way we can solve this problem. We'd circle not enough information. All right, so you're going to do number 4. Remember, if it does give you enough information, show the work right here, the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division problem. That is the way that you would actually solve the problem. And if there's not enough information, then you'd circle B. So pause the video now, turn it back on when you're ready to see the solution. All right, it says Oliver and Bob were playing basketball. Oliver made 5 baskets. Bob made 4 more baskets than Oliver. How many baskets did Bob make? If Bob made 4 more than Oliver and Oliver made 5, all you have to do is 5 plus 4. He obviously made 9 baskets. so that is enough information. Should have shown this on your paper. Don't forget to do that on your daily work and make sure this matches up with everybody else when you reach consensus, and you circle A for enough information. All right, let's move on. Numbers 5 and 6, these are both kind of similar to each other, so we'll do the first one together and you can try the second one on your own. Sherry painted 5 more pictures than her friend did. What information is needed to find out the number of pictures her friend painted? Remember, Sherry painted 5 more pictures than her friend, than this other person. So what we're going to do is we're going to take her friend and add 5 to it, and that's going to give us how many paintings Sherry painted. Well, what do we need to know this number right here, to know how many Sherry painted? We need to obviously know that. Let's see which one of these describes the friend. Total number of pictures painted? Well, that doesn't necessarily give it to us. Time it took to paint each picture? We don't care how long. That has nothing to do with this problem. Number of pictures Sherry painted? Well, if we know the number of paintings that Sherry did, we would know how many her friend did. And I actually explained that kind of backwards when I first said it. But the number of pictures that Sherry did, if let's say that Sherry painted 8, well, we know that her friend would do 3 because 3 plus 5 makes 8. All right, you go ahead and try to solve number 6. Circle the correct answer down here. Turn the video back on when you've solved it. Problem says Tristan has 2 flower gardens in his yard. In one garden he has 24 flowers. What information is needed to find out how many flowers there are in the garden? So there's 2 flower gardens. One of them has 24. And what do we need to know to find out how many are in the other garden? How much he paid for the flowers? Money has nothing to do with how many flowers there are. The total number of flowers? Well, if we knew the total number, let's say there were 36 altogether, and you knew he's got 2 gardens, and one of them has 24, and then the other one we don't know, and totaling up to 36, that would probably tell us how many were here. All we'd have to do would be doing 36 minus 24. So this one looks like it's right. Let's check the last one, though, before we make our final decision. Good test takers always look at all the choices before they pick an answer. How many flowers are roses? Roses? What in the world does that have to do with this problem? So that's obviously not the answer. All right, so thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful day.